and entrusted to monitor renovations and additions to our Baltimore County historic resources. We review and approve nominations to the Baltimore County Preliminary Landmarks List and comment on National Register nominations. Additionally, we are charged with evaluating submissions to the Baltimore County Historic Tax Credit Program that encourages the appropriate maintenance and renovation of designated historic properties. Would the commissioners please introduce themselves by name and county council district or representation? We can go in the order listed on the PowerPoint screen. So Lily, could you start us off?
This is Lily Mundroff, Council District 1.
Chris Weston, District 2.
Wendy McIver, District 3.
Salisha, are you with us today?
She's not.
And Ray, did Ray get on?
He's not as well.
Okay, Phoebe? Phoebe, are you unmuted? We can't hear you, but we see you saying it, so we'll count that as an introduction.
Phoebe Evans Latosha, executive appointment.
Thank you.
Jamie Ferguson, executive appointment.
I think Scott's having trouble with his audio. So Scott, we see you, and glad you're with us.
He's a planning board representative. And I'm Ed Horde, executive appointment.
Vince, I don't see.
Chris Parts, executive appointment.
Chris, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Is my microphone working again now?
There we go.
Okay,
Now we
good.
can
Thank
hear
you.
Thank you. Now we can stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the country, one nation under God,
Liberty and justice
for all. Thank you. The Landmarks Preservation Commission operates under the authority, standards, requirements of Title VII, Article 32 of the Baltimore County Code. We refer to the United States Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation as administered by the National Park Service. This is the accepted national standard for historic preservation projects. Our own Baltimore County Historic Design programs. Just lost the page here. Guidelines directly reference and incorporate the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. We have important preservation issues to discuss and debate at each meeting. If you would like to make comments, please limit your comments to the specific application or proposal submission being reviewed. We ask for your assistance and understanding so that the discussions do not digress. As an additional comment, we can all agree that historic preservation is an important aspect of the quality of life and place that makes Baltimore County unique. As a commission, we seek to recommend significant buildings and places for landmark consideration to the County Council for their final vote. As commissioners, we serve on the commission due to our expertise, interest, and passion for historic buildings and places and review submissions based solely on their merit. While we may disagree in discussion and voting, we continue to be a collegial body that respects each other personally and professionally. Thank you. Now, are there any considerations or changes to today's agenda?
No changes.
Okay, hearing none. The minutes of the October 13th meeting, has everyone had an opportunity to review them? Any corrections or additions that we need to note? Hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve.
And second?
Second.
Second.
And all in favor, just voice vote? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. There are several consent agenda items, 4, 6, and 7. And Jessica, are you going to lead us through those?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Agenda item number 4 is the Watkins property located at 709 Cliveden Road in Sudbrook Park, County Council District Number 2. This is a contributing structure in the Sudbrook Park County Historic District, and the applicants are seeking Part 2 tax credit review for various exterior repairs and in-kind replacements to the slate roof, shutters, porch steps, and handrail, fascia and gutters, and exterior painting. Agenda item number 6 is the Sidell property located at 311 Register Avenue in Rogers Forge, County Council District Number 5. This is a contributing structure in the Rogers Forge National Register Historic District, and the applicant is seeking Part 2 tax credit review for original hard floor refinishing and an electrical panel upgrade. Finally, agenda item number 7, the Lock property located at 722 Howard Road in Sudbrook Park, County Council District Number 2. This is a contributing structure in the Sudbrook Park County Historic District, and the applicant is seeking review for a split rail fence installation around the rear garden.
Thank you. Commissioners, are we all comfortable with all those being consent items, or does anybody need to pull one of them into the main agenda?
This is Chris. I just wanted to say, out of an abundance of transparency, that item number 4 is my district commissioner's home, so I will have to abstain from voting on item 4.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Hearing no other wishes to pull them into the main agenda or other objections to them being consent items, may I have a motion to approve all 3 consent items?
I would move that we approve the 3 consent items.
And thanks, Chris. And a second?
Second,
Thank you, Wendy.
Wendy.
And then Jessica, can you do a roll call vote?
Great. Can we have Ed, please?
Would you say?
You, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Ed.
Okay. Phoebe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
and John.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. And so then that we start with item number 5,
Yes.
right? The Leola McClung property. And do we know if the owner is with us?
Yes, Miss McClung has joined us, and she would like the opportunity to address the commission.
Good, good. Will you guide us through then on the introduction? Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 5, the Leola McClung property located at 1604 South Rolling Road in Relay, County Council District Number 1. This is a contributing structure in the Relay County Historic District. And the applicant is seeking review for an ex post facto front yard fencing installation. This is a wood picket fence extension along the north property line in the front yard. A neighbor contacted staff about the fence, and staff reached out to the property owner to inquire about the work and to determine if involving code enforcement was necessary. A correction notice has not been issued. The 1.1 acre property has an existing wood picket fence that encloses a portion of the yard on the north side of the house. The applicant notes that the rear half of the property is heavily wooded and contains a creek, which makes the rear yard soggy and wet. The new fence extends from the existing fencing along the north side property line and from the front porch towards the road where it meets an existing retaining wall, enclosing a portion of the front yard. The retaining wall is roughly the same height as the fencing. The fence material was installed to match the existing and is 36 inches to 44 inches at the post and will be painted in the spring. Staff thanks the property owner for providing additional photographs of the property for context. While front yard fencing is not typical in county historic districts, as noted on page 3 of the Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, fences and landscape, the guidelines note that enclosing a front yard with a fence or wall where one did not previously exist is rarely approved. However, front yard picket fencing exists on a few homes in the historic district. In addition, the top of the retaining wall is at the same level and grade as South Rolling Road, and the front yard sits below the wall or street level by several feet. Because of this grade change, the fencing is not very visible from the road. Staff is accepting of the proposal as completed and recommends to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness as completed, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Fences and Landscapes, pages 1 through 5, County Code Section 327-405.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Ms. McClung, is there something you would like to add to that introduction?
Ms. McClung, you are unmuted.
I just want to say, as a very new owner in the historic district, excuse me for my faux pas, but I do appreciate what the commission does. And my goal is to keep this property as historic and hopefully restore it to some of its historic beauty before. Jessica has been great to work with. She has given me, I think there was 23 pages of history on this house, which is even more inspiring to me to live here and maintain it as we help its weak old knees in the foundation. So I just want to say thank you to the commission. I know part of you, this is volunteer for some of you, and I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you for those kind words, and thank you for your interest in taking good care of your property. At this point, I open it up to the commissioners. Any comments, questions, objections?
I think it looks fine. I don't see an issue with it.
Do you want to put that into a motion, Ed, for approval?
Does anyone else have anything? Hearing nothing else, I'll move that we approve the, hold on and I'll get how this is supposed to be said. That we vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness as completed.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Wendy. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, may we do a roll call vote, Jessica?
Have Ed, please.
Yes.
Phoebe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
and John.
Yes.
Great,
And
thank
thank you again, Ms. McClung. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, and good luck with the project.
Right. Next, we have agenda item number 8, the Scott property located at 315 Central Avenue in Glendon, County Council District number 2. This is a contributing structure in the Glendon County Historic District, and the owners are seeking tax credit part 2 approval for exterior chimney repairs, liner installation, and a wood insert installation. The existing chimney is unlined and has no crown cap, which has allowed for water and pest penetration. The existing firebox is covered with glass doors. The chimney exterior and top will be weatherproof. The crown will be repaired with screens installed on the sides, and the existing bricks and stone top will be retained and reset. The chimney will be lined with a new stainless steel ceramic insulated liner. The owners wish to install a new black Osborne 3500 wood insert with an oversized faceplate with insulation and a blower. The chimney weatherproofing, crown repair, and liner installation are both tax credit eligible projects, and staff recommends approval. However, the installation of a wood stove insert is viewed as a renovation project versus a repair project and is not eligible for the tax credit program. Since the work is on the interior, LPC approval is not needed for the installation. It is just not eligible for tax credits and will be itemized out of the Part 3 application. Staff's recommendation is to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for chimney weatherization, crown repair, and liner installation, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, roofs, pages 1 through 6, County Code Section 327-405, and County Code Section 11-201.
Are the owners with us tonight, Jessica?
One moment. No, they are not.
Okay. In that case, we'll go directly to the commissioners. Any comments? Thoughts? Hearing none, hearing
Oh,
none.
I'm so sorry. We do have the owners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Is it Mr. and Mrs. Scott?
Yes, let me unmute them.
Okay.
Having trouble now accessing the attendees list.
Hmm.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Scott, you are unmuted.
Hey guys, thanks for meeting with us tonight. We really appreciate you guys reviewing our project. Yeah, we really weren't sure where any of this kind of laid out, so it was definitely very educational to learn about the chimney lining and what is for a tax credit and what is not. So it's definitely beneficial. So just want to say thank you for that.
Well, thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate it. Commissioners, any questions for the Scotts or any comments on the project?
Yeah.
Hearing none, would somebody like to turn it into a motion?
And here I'll make a motion to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the chimney weatherization, crown repair, and liner installation.
Thank you, Phoebe. A second?
Second.
Thanks, Chris. Jessica, roll call?
Ed, please. Ed,
Yes.
right? Phoebe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
and John.
Yes.
Great,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 9, Paradise Place at Sudbrook Assisted Living Property at 600 Sudbrook Road, Sudbrook Park, County Council District number 2. This is a contributing structure in the Sudbrook Park County Historic District, and the applicant has returned to the commission for review of the ex post facto paved commercial parking lot. And so the parking lot installation covers 3,800 square feet of paved asphalt parking lot. Staff was contacted by community members and subsequently a correction notice was issued in June 2022. The property owner came before the commission at its July 14th, 2022 meeting, and the commission voted not to approve the work as completed. The commission stated concerns over the close proximity of the carriage house and asked that proper landscape plans be submitted that provide more details. And just as a refresher, the new asphalt parking lot is located to the rear of the property and is accessed from Carysbrook Road. The new lot expands the previously existing gravel driveway and parking area and extends up to the carriage house, which the LPC approved plans for its rehab in July of 2020, and staff approved plans in an emergency review after a tree fell on the structure in November of 2020. The previous lot and driveway can be seen in a Google Street View image that was included in your packet. The new lot contains 8 regular parking spaces and 2 handicap spaces, which will be painted and identified with signage. In addition, concrete or plastic curb stoppers will be installed at the head of each space. The applicant has now returned with an updated landscape plan with an additional electrical lighting site plan. The new landscape plan shows proposed shrubs to be planted along the entranceway and northwest border of the parking lot. While the LPC does not have purview over general landscaping, such as planting trees or shrubs, staff feels the landscaping will provide a nice buffer to help minimize the commercial feeling of the lot, which was a concern for some community members. Staff urges the commission to discuss the updated landscaping plan and recommends to vote to issue a notice to proceed as completed, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, Fences and Landscapes, County Code Section 327405 and 327403. And we do have the property owner, Ms. Johnson, with us tonight.
Ms. Johnson, is there anything you'd like to add to that introduction?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking time to listen to our project. Doing the landscape drawings, I find it very interesting that I didn't know much about it. So doing it, it shows that It will change the look, it will give it more homely, and the lights that is going to be erected will be helpful to lead up the environment. We'll also do the shrubs as required. I have submitted to the people that will get all this done and in place to make it homely and to make it more homely look. So we're just waiting for approval, and then we'll get the structure going to give it the appeal that everyone is looking for.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Any comments?
I just had one question on the lighting, just as a question, and I don't know if that's an area for comment or question or not, but wondering if that's on a timer or if it's on a motion activated, sensor after a certain period of time, just so it's less of an impact on the neighbors there.
Yeah, the lighting. This is a Major Animation. Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear
Good
you. Thank you.
evening. Thank you for opportunity to meet with you. I'm Major Animation. I'm Dr. Johnson's brother. The lighting will be on a timer. It's going to be on a clock timer, which means it's going to come on at a particular time, 6 o'clock, and go off 7 o'clock in the morning, depending on how we set it. But that's the projected setting for the timer for the lighting. And this place has been existed. The former business was assisted living. The assisted living that was in this same building before we bought this property didn't have lighting in that area. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it because we've owned this property for 2 years and we've not been able to make money on this property. But we're gonna do whatever the commission wants us to do. But we want to get this business going. So we are appealing that we just have money sitting down in that place for years and for 2 years. So we're just appealing that they should approve this. We can get everything done and we can start making money because we're paying so much interest on this property. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And so I think the takeaway is just be sensitive to your neighbors with the lighting and clearly with the timer you can adjust to meet other parameters. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Yeah, I did. So I went back and reviewed the minutes of the July 2022 meeting, where we had previously discussed this. And one of the other concerns was related to the grading and the fact that the parking lot was up against the building. There was some concern about stormwater and that potentially putting the carriage house at risk. So I wanted to know if there was any has the grading permit been reviewed? What's the status of that? It seems like this plan doesn't really make any adjustments to take into consideration the parking lot's close proximity to the building, and I'm not seeing anything that would really address any kind of concerns about water runoff coming against the carriage house.
The grading was taken in consideration because the person that did the planning did the survey of the land and every other thing. And for you to do the survey, everything got to be taken in consideration. And we're still going to come back for the carriage house because for now, later, we can't get no contractor that can fix the carriage house. For now.
So we're going to finish with the parking lot. So originally when they were doing the parking lot, the people that were doing the asphalt, I think they showed us how they're going to do the water away from the carriage house. Because I was with them, they showed me how they're gonna do it. So I think the right side and the left side, they kind of come in the middle to make sure the water will be able to divert away from the carriage house. So they showed me that when they were originally doing that asphalt. I think that's what they call it.
So am I hearing you right that parking lot slopes gently away from the carriage house.
Correct, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because I
Thank you.
think when they were trying also to measure the earth, when they were removing the earth, they were also trying to explain that they're gonna divert water away from the
Got it.
carriage house.
Does that satisfy your question, Phoebe?
But how is that different from, I mean, has anything changed from July? When we reviewed it in July?
Yes. And the
And-
parking lot is not completed. So when the day we started, everybody stopped. So we have not gone back to finish and do the finishing touches.
And Phoebe, it does look like just from the site plan
Mhm.
that we've got elevation that's dropping out toward the street. And from
Okay.
the wet photograph, it looks like it is actually draining to the center of the parking lot and out toward the street there.
Okay.
But I think we've got two topographic lines that are dropping away from the structure and out toward the street there.
Okay, good. That's helpful. I mean, I'm not as
Mhm.
well versed at, reading
good.
site plans as an architect. since
That's
not
fine.
my background. So it is helpful to get that
Right.
perspective from
Mhm.
those who have more expertise than I do.
Right.
To expand on Chris's comment, I believe your concern, Chris, was about light pollution, right?
Yes, yeah, and I think it's just recognizing that your neighbors might not want to have the
that
light
you've got
on
houses
all
right
night
across
long.
the street
Right,
there, and
yeah.
they're not going to want an overlit parking lot all night
Right.
long. So there are fixtures that are called dark sky compliant, and that
Mhm.
is the kind of fixture that you would want. It doesn't bleed light all over the site. It shines specifically down.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put that into consideration when we're doing that. Of course, we don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but we're also trying to follow the guidelines that will make everybody comfortable and make the people that will be living in 600 Sawbrook, make them comfortable and safe during the
Right.
dark
Sure.
hour of the night. Yes. So we can do something that is motion, so the person that is going to do it will put the suggestions to them and see maybe we can do motion.
I think motion activated lights are a very good
Correct.
idea.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
get one, it costs you a lot of money and energy if it's burning all night long.
Mhm.
And I think that energy is getting very, very expensive these days. So I would recommend very strongly that you do two things. One, make sure your lights all are dark sky compliant and that they have a cutoff so they don't bleed light across your property line. And two, put them on a motion detector. So when a car's there and a person's there and you need it, it's on. And when nobody's there and nobody's moving around in the space, it goes off. And you'll save a lot of energy and you'll make a better place for your neighbors. And
Thank you so much.
your tenants. And they're
Yeah.
also impacted by this.
Yeah.
Okay. It will be taken into consideration, sir.
Thank you.
That'll be one of the considerations on the.
Mhm.
I would put it as a requirement in our approval.
Okay.
So you need to do more than consider it. You need to do it. So.
Mhm.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
do it.
yes.
If not, we'll do it.
Mhm.
Any other comments or suggestions from the commissioners?
This is Lily, District 1. I do have a question on the landscaping. I guess referring back to the earlier discussions about the concerns from the neighbors regarding softening I guess what they were seeing as this larger paved area and softening the buffer between the houses and this parking area. I think what I'm seeing, maybe I'm not understanding, in terms of landscape intervention, we're only talking about lining up as you're coming into the parking lot with 3-foot planting and then just the buffer on the longer side with 3 to 4 foot planting. And I just want to bring it up as a consideration. Was the hope from the to see more of a buffer between the houses and the parking so that, they basically, are you screening the cars, or are you just trying to soften the edge of that parking area? Because there were earlier suggestions in the earlier meeting to have actually reduce the footprint of some of the parking so that it becomes more permeable, and then it also doesn't read like one giant space. So I just don't see a lot of that full integration of landscape buffer. And I just wanted to understand or see what others thought.
I see that the landscape architect, Mr. Phil Conti, is on with us, and he may be able to answer that question. Can you pull him in, Jessica?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil. I am one of the landscape architects that helped design this plan. The way we went about addressing the landscape is we simply took a look at what's required by the county, and really what are the requirements that we need to get approved. That's where we typically start with our plans. And what we came down with, if you look to the right of the plan, you'll see a smaller landscape manual conditions plan to the right. That here shows us, it's a way for us to help allow the county reviewer, Jim Herman, to know how we came up with what we did and why, and which requirements we feel are applicable, and why not we did what we did. And so basically what we came down with was, the only requirements were really to address the parking lot, because condition B, B1 and B2, adjacent to road to public right of way and adjacent to residential. If a parking lot is adjacent to right of way or residential, then it needs to be buffered. What we did is we used evergreen shrubs to buffer that. And the way we interpreted this for this site is we do on the far end, to the right, if you're looking at plan view, the right of it, you have the, what is that? It's Sudbrook Lane. We consider that a right of way, and then across from it is another residential. We are aware that to the left of this property is another residential, but we felt that the carriage house was was a buffer in of itself. And what we try and do best for our clients is not to, or clients, everybody we work with, is not to add anything, just to add stuff. We want to come in and be budget conscious. So what we started out with was just what we felt was applicable per all the regulations and requirements of the site. If there's any suggestions that you guys would like for us to add to the site that you think is going to be necessary, we are absolutely happy to, adjust the plan. But what we wanted to start off with was just, the basics, so to speak.
So you're doing the minimum you need to do based on regulations. Did you take into account any of the comments from neighbors and trying to be considerate to them, or that's not part of your problem because it's not in the regulations?
Well,
Yeah. When I spoke to Mark was the main guy that I spoke to. I gave him all the concerns from the neighbors, and all the stuff that I wrote from the last minutes. I showed it to him. He came on property, he looked around, and he made up what we need to do to make the neighbors happy, and also to create a safe environment for the people that will be living at Sudbrook. So he was on property a few times just to go around and see some of the complaints that came up from the last time. And before he started doing any drawings, he went in there a couple of times just to see what will please everyone and still make the neighbors be happy about what we are doing at 600 Sudbrook. He couldn't join the meeting tonight, and I think he asked Phil, one of his partner, to fill in. But we've been going back and forth talking about what we need to do to get the neighbors to be comfortable with what we are doing.
Yes, I can attest to what was just said. I'm here on behalf of Mark, so unfortunately, I don't know all the comments that were previously stated by the neighbors, but mostly we felt the existing landscape, the existing trees were to remain, are a sufficient buffer. You know, obviously we have a nice neighborhood and we're throwing in a asphalt parking lot kind of right in the middle. It's an eyesore, totally understandable. And then you add lighting to it, you know, the neighbors across the street, you know, it could cause problems, but we felt between what the buffer we're providing and the existing vegetation, that would be enough to buffer the site. And when we were brought on, the parking lot was already built. So we were kind of, usually these plans, they're done together, site planning, landscape, and everything's coordinated. Jim Herman, I believe, recommended us this project. I'm not sure what happened prior to that, but we were told to, you know, take what the plan has, which was after the parking lot was built, and do the best we could to try and address what the requirements were.
Can you tell us, do you know about the grading? Does the parking lot grade towards the street?
Yes, it absolutely does. I just had my AutoCAD up, and that plan, we will resend you a plan that has the existing topo labels on there. That's an error on our part, but yes, the existing contours definitely slope toward it slopes towards the road, kind of towards the top right.
Mhm.
It's going down.
Sloping away from the carriage house, which
Yes, yes.
right.
Excuse me, Commission. I have some questions in the chat from Ms. Denise Watkins from the Sudbrook Park Landmarks Committee. Could she address the Commission?
Absolutely.
Great, thank you. Ms. Watkins, I'm about to unmute you.
Okay.
Ms. Watkins.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
can. Thank you, Ms.
Hi,
Wa-
good evening. I'm sorry that I apologize for not having signed up to testify. Previously, our association, hearing the concerns of this parking lot going in from the neighbors, we did write a letter to the effect of most of the concerns that are being expressed tonight, that the parking lot had gone in without anyone in the neighborhood having been consulted, especially the adjacent neighbors. We appreciate that the owners have made a good faith effort here to provide some landscaping and have made a step towards mitigating some of those concerns from the neighbors. Some of my questions were, I don't know if those adjacent neighbors have been made aware of the current landscape plan, if they've had any input into it at all. I know that this plan has not come in front of the Sudbrook Park Landmarks Committee. We are not a binding committee, of course, but it hasn't come in front of us. And to reiterate what's in the chat, we would still have some concern about the amount and type of landscaping. I agree that the type of landscaping will be quite important to shield the parking lot from the adjacent neighbors as well as from the street, which is an historic kind of street there. So it's not just about shielding it from the neighbors, but providing a good landscape concept along the streetscape. Also, the lighting is of a little bit of concern to us. We'd want a little more information about the lighting. It looked like there was a cut sheet on there that demonstrated the type of lighting, but we would certainly be opposed to something that was more like a, you know, a large parking lot lighting fixture. We would not, we would respectfully not approve that type of fixture. So we'd want to see a little more information, as well as light levels, perhaps on a, you know, a sensor that could go on and off, because that probably even more than the paving will have impact both on the neighborhood and on the adjacent neighbors. So those are really our concerns. We did indicate those concerns. The lighting we hadn't seen yet for the parking lot, so that was not contained in our previous letter. But the other issues were. We would respectfully request just that we have a little more information on what the committee and our neighborhood have expressed before approval of the plan. And I do want to iterate that we do appreciate the owners and how much work they have put into this property. They have improved it immensely. So we really do want to work with them to have it fit into the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. As a point of concern for me, Jessica and Taylor, can the commission comment on the lighting? Is that something that we can include in our motion, or is that outside our purview?
I think as it pertains to the historic nature of, you know, the view shed of the neighborhood, then we can comment.
Okay, so we could include that in the motion if we chose to. So,
sorry,
I
had one more comment, but I can wait.
No, go ahead, Lily.
I did see in the lights that they mentioned, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I noticed a 12-foot mounting light, and I don't know my rules about heights on this, but just the mounting would be also important in a residential. I don't know what's expected, but clearly, I mean, I suppose if they're on dark sky compliant, and if they're on motion, maybe that's not an issue. But again, I guess what is the sensitivity of mounting them and locating them so that they're not clearly viewed across the street from the other houses?
Right.
And I have a related question on that.
This is Yetunde Johnson. Can I please make a comment, please?
Yeah,
so
yes.
With the lighting, the lighting came with the landscape drawing, but the reason why we are doing the meetings is to make sure the people in the community are comfortable. The assisted living, it's for the community. So if they want a garden light, we would definitely do that. If they want us to adjust the light to be more lower and not bright, we would do that. So the purpose of the meeting is just to make sure that the assisted living, it's part of that community. So we are going to do what we need to do to make sure the community are comfortable. So going with the drawings, that's what the landscape drawing required us to do from the county department. But if we need to do the garden, yes, so I'm trying to not do something that is not appropriate by the county. So I have to do what is appropriate by the county. I also have to put in consideration with the neighbors. Because if I'm in that property, the property, I'm in there, it's my property. So I'm part of the community. So the goal is to make everybody comfortable. So, and at the same time, I want to make sure I'm in line with the regulatory compliance. So if the lights, because when we did the drawing, we were supposed to erect 5 lights around that parking lot. If it's gonna be too much, we can reduce it down, but I'm not sure what the county, the Baltimore County, it's requiring us to do for that area. But I am open to do, if it's a garden light, I will do it. If it's to put it for motion sensitivity, we'll do it. We are here to listen to what everybody wants and what is going to make everybody comfortable, and we're open to do that.
May I interject a suggestion to the commission at this point? We're talking a little bit around and around on the issue, and perhaps we could make a motion that we would allow it to proceed with the approval of a smaller group pending the approval of the neighbors. It sounds like there's been a little miscommunication there. And if they can talk this plan over with the neighbors, have the neighbors come back with a letter from the Sudbrook Association saying that it meets their approval, and then allow a subcommittee to make the final decision so we don't hold them up. And that's in recognition that we don't have a meeting next month. Anybody on the commission have a thought on that idea?
I think that's a good idea. I would just add one more thing, that I think the lights at 12 feet is not a bad height. I think that's a good height. I do think that they need to be cutoff fixtures that don't spill light, don't aim any light towards the neighbors off the property. All light should stay on their property. So.
And it looks like the photometrics actually show that it's greatly diminished by the time you hit the edge or the middle of the street there.
I can't read it on my
Okay.
my one I have.
Right.
Hit your zoom there, Ed.
I did zoom and it's very fuzzy.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah. The related comment that I had, or question I had, was I was looking at the street view, and just wondering if there are any street lights in this neighborhood at all existing already, or is that not something that exists in in the neighborhood? I know some historic neighborhoods have street lights on the sidewalks or corners. I'm not seeing any in looking at the Google Street View, but I may be missing some.
So we could leave that. I think that's an important question, and I think then the neighbors can kind of meet with these owners, and the owners seem willing to accommodate their needs. Is there somebody who might like to put that concept into a motion for us?
I'll make a motion that we table approval of this item pending review by the neighborhood committee, and that if the neighborhood committee approves this, that a smaller committee of this body can approve it.
I would approve it pending the neighborhood review.
Contingent.
I think that might.
Yeah, I think we're saying the same.
Yeah, I don't want to not approve it, because I think it's going to, otherwise it has to come back to us. Then it's, they're 2 months away, and I think they want to get going, and I think the neighbors would be happy to.
You guys can approve it with a condition.
Yes,
They have to come.
Yeah, we can either approve it or not approve it. We can't table it so much.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
So we soon, to Ed's point.
I'm
we would have
withdrawing my motion, and Ed, you can go.
There you go.
Okay, I'm probably going to miss some things, so feel free to add or just subtract what I'm saying. Let me just look. I would vote to issue a notice to proceed as designed, with several comments. One is that it's contingent on them meeting and getting an approval for the community association. 2, that the lights are all cut-off light fixtures that don't allow spilling of light off of their property line, over their property line, and that they're dark sky compliant, and that the lights are activated by motion sensors, not by timers, and not left on all the time. So that's my anything else that I missed?
Thank you, Ed. Do we have a second for that so we can get it into discussion?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners, any discussion on that motion?
I just wanted to clear up. After the community association approves it, do we have a smaller site committee then approve it?
Yes, I don't know that.
Or disapprove it. I mean, in other words, we're going to get another view of it, right?
Right. I'm not
smaller
confident
committee.
we'll need to go out for a site inspection, but that will be left to the smaller group.
Right.
So
they don't have to come back before the full
Right.
body, but the
Right.
site
Right.
committee will have
Exactly.
authority.
But if we did get an approval from the community and they do the things that we say, I think staff could approve it. I think, and if staff thinks that they need more input from commissioners, that we could have a couple of commissioners. They could call on a couple of folks.
Well, an approval with conditions is saying that they don't need to come back as long as those conditions are met.
Yeah.
They would only have to return to the commission if you denied their application. They would have to do a resubmission. So if they approve with
So I think
conditions-
that
somebody needs to review those conditions to know that they are met, right?
Yes.
Yes, so
Be
um,
staff, I would say.
to Ed's point, that could be the staff, and is the commission willing to accept that amendment to the motion that it's left to staff approval to recognize that the conditions are met?
I accept that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And those who seconded accept it. Then any further comment or questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Yetunde Johnson. I just want to make sure that I'm clear.
Yes, I was just about to go over it, Ms. Johnson. So let me read it back to you.
Just want to make, okay.
So
All right, sir.
kind of in prelude to me reading it back to you, we appreciate your willingness to work with the community and restoring this building. We think that it's important that the community sign off on it. So the motion is that we vote to issue a notice to proceed as completed with the condition that the community association approve the plan, and with the further condition that the lighting be, I'm not sure I'm going to get these technical things right, dark sky, night lighting, and motion activated, and that light pollution not spill out of the footprint of your property.
Yes.
And so with that being done, you can come back to us and the staff will be able to approve the go-ahead. Okay?
So it's not delayed until January. It would just
Not
be-
delayed.
Yeah.
So as
It's
quickly
just-
as quickly as you work through those issues, which frankly may not take that long, then you can come back to the staff.
This is Phil Conti. If you don't mind, if I ask one or two more questions, I just wouldn't want to make sure I get an understanding of what you guys would like us to provide, so that you guys can understand. If I would update the plans, but I guess what would also help is maybe some more actual images of what the lighting fixtures might look like. Or
Phil, I think what we're really saying is that while we'd like to know that it's being done, who you need to get in front of is community group.
Okay.
And make
got it,
sure
got it.
that you don't need to bring us anything until you've gone through the community group to see
Okay.
what makes them happy. And then once they sign off on it, they will let us know, and it should, any adjustments to the plan should accompany that letter to the commission.
And maybe Yetunde might know this, but is there a point of contact for that community group that I should know about, so I can get?
Well, you could start with Ms. Watkins, who was on the phone.
Okay.
Today, certainly.
Yes, and staff will email you tomorrow, or actually we're off tomorrow, but on Monday, we'll email you everything that was said today, and we can provide you with those contact information for you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
So with all that background, I think we're ready for a vote. And Jessica, may you lead us through a roll call vote?
All right, can we have Ed, please?
Yes.
Phoebe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Lily,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
yes.
and John.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you,
Also like
Ms.
to say yes
Johnson
to-
and Mr. Conti and everybody for showing up and chatting with us again.
Great. All right, our last Agenda item of 2022, folks. This is number
Wow,
10.
it's quite a build
Not
up.
allowed to yell and get on the table dancing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's not quite 7 yet, so we're doing pretty good with timing. We have the Brennan property located at 102 Rosewood Avenue in Catonsville, County Council District Number 2. This is a contributing structure in the Old Catonsville National Register Historic District. And the owners wish to make a series of regular maintenance repairs to the exterior of the home, including cleaning and staining a portion of the existing cedar shake shingle siding, painting wood trim and features, and removing and replacing concrete slabs located in the yard and shed interior. The project includes 4 work items, 3 of which are eligible to receive county historic tax credits. Work item number 1 for the exterior cedar shake siding staining. The application notes that the original 1913 cedar shingle siding is located on the northeast and first-story west elevations and on the front porch. Cedar siding was replaced in 2004 on the south and second-story west elevations. The staining on the replaced cedar siding is failing. The owners wish to clean and restain the siding on the south and second-story west elevations to match the existing pigment. Work item number 2 for wood trim painting. The owners wish to paint the exterior wood trim, including the breakboards and soffits. The wood features will be gently cleaned, scraped, sanded, primed, and repainted to match the existing color. Work item number 3 for concrete slab replacement. The owners wish to remove and replace an existing concrete slab located beneath the second-story rear porch. The slab was installed in the 1950s and has degraded. A new, smaller concrete slab will be poured within the footprint of the existing. This work is not tax credit eligible. Finally, work item number 4, the shed gravel floor replacement. The owners wish to replace the existing gravel floor within the rear shed with a concrete slab. The shed was installed in the mid-1950s. The new concrete floor will be poured over the gravel to properly seal the surface within the original finished space. And staff recommends to vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness as proposed, citing Baltimore County Historic Design Guidelines, facade materials, pages 1 through 12, County Code Section 112201.
Is our esteemed alumnus Rob Brennan with us tonight?
Sorry, let me check. Still having a little trouble pulling down the attendees list.
I'm seeing a call-in user at 410-313.
Oh,
I don't know
maybe.
what that is.
Well, I will unmute them. Hello, do we have Mr. Brennan with us?
That would be me. Greetings to all.
Well,
hi.
So glad
Hi.
to hear from you, Rob. Anything you would like to add to the application?
No, I think it's pretty well covered. Certainly the staining and painting, we're maintaining the house as it exists, and the slab at the rear is crumbling and failing and needs replacement. It's right up against the house, and just was thinking in the interest of water management that might be tax credit eligible.
But
that would be it, though.
Yeah, that would be it. Okay, well, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Rob?
This is Lily Mundroff. I just need to recuse myself.
Okay. We'll do that. Everybody else in? Any questions? Hearing none, could we have a motion to approve?
I move that we vote to issue a certificate of appropriateness as proposed.
And a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ed. Roll call vote, Jessica?
have Ed, please.
Yes.
Phoebe,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Chris Weston,
Yes.
Chris Parts,
Yes.
and John.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Rob, so good to have you with us. Thank you.
Yeah, glad to be back, however briefly. Good luck to you all.
A cameo, exactly.
A walk-on, yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So on other items that we have to cover, there are a couple of historic review applications that were approved by staff as emergency repair. You want to talk about those, Jessica?
Yes. So we've already discussed the Watkins property at 709 Cliveden Road, Southbrook Park, County Historic District. And the first two work items in the application were approved by staff as an emergency repair for structural and roof repairs replacements to the rear porch. And the second is the Roche property at 24 Windcrest Avenue, Catonsville, Old Catonsville National Register Historic District. And this was an updated amendment for 2021 exterior painting.
Thank you. Thank you. And just a point of interest, we have no meeting in December, but was there a continuing education program scheduled for that night?
Yes, so that will be at our regular meeting time at 6 o'clock, and we'll send more information out as we approach the date.
I had a question about that because on the in Baltimore County Public Schools have on their community engagement plan for Towson High School, they have listed on December 8th a presentation to the LPC presented recommend mitigation option informational meeting. So I'm wondering if they think we have a meeting on December 8th and they need to adjust their schedule, or if there is something that we actually are going to be presented on that date.
No, there is no LPC meeting in December. They didn't talk to us before they made that timeline. That was since they asked about that after they made that timeline. So they're aware that we do not have a meeting in December.
Okay. So presumably it would be then at our January meeting and they just need to adjust their timeline on their website.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to miss that.
No, you or I, for sure. I had not seen that. Yeah. Hearing no other business, may I have a motion to adjourn and wish you all happy holidays before I do that?
Move that we adjourn.
And a second?
I'll second.
And a voice vote?
Aye.
Aye. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.